Hey everybody, and welcome to Addicted to Loot episode 59 with yours truly, Atomic Zero, and Tamaldi, aka Brian and aka Tom, respectively. Welcome. It is officially fall season, the season of allergies, sneezing, and all sorts of fun stuff, and we're officially getting to the colder weather. So it's time to sit back down, listen with your buddies, and talk some games. That's exactly what we want to do.
Have a nice hot drink like this can of ice cold Canada Dry.
Or Polar Bear.
Polar Seltzer. What flavor is that?
Black cherry. Ba-bam, ba-bam, ba-bam.
Ooh.
Addicted to Loot, brought to you by Seltzer Water.
Seltzer water is great. I feel like it's like so hit and miss. Like,
I never actually drank it. Now all of a sudden it's just like, it's there, it's available, it's right there. So I tried. It's not that big of a deal. But anyway,
I'm a fan.
Welcome to Addicted to Loot. We are a fun, laid-back, upbeat, chilling gaming conglomerate of...
It cracks me up how many oxymorons he's jammed into that.
I try to put it...
an upbeat, chilled out, high energy, low energy gaming podcast.
I put in as many buzzwords as possible. Hey, if you watch enough of our podcast, we hit all of those adjectives.
We try to, that's for sure.
But we are
Jack of all trades, master of fun.
We are a gaming podcast that does feature live Twitch streaming, which you can do at twitch.tv/addictedloot. You can come hang out with us live whenever you want. And we also do YouTube videos, have a Facebook, and our own website that you can get to, which is addictedtoloot.com, where we are...
It's really funny, because like when I was a little kid, I used to love making websites. I used to love, like, I had a free webs, I had Homestead, and I just would love making websites for no reason. I just like playing with the elements and putting stuff together. I remember there was one that I put like stars in the background, and it was like you could add a chat room widget. I was like, it's a Star Wars chat room, and it was like me in it. But it was just great. And now that I'm like, I don't know if I want to use the word adult. Now that I'm the age that I am, and literally part of like my day-to-day employment and other things that I do is making websites. I hate it. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of making websites. It's like I love making websites, and then you have to manage them.
He says to the guy he has a website with.
Yeah, well... Point being, if anyone wants to be the official Addicted to Loot website manager... No, it's just so funny because there's at least 4, 5 like substantial websites that I manage and update like once a week or once every 2 weeks, and it's just like, oh my god, I'm gonna put a Star Wars chat room on ours.
You might as well. You already put the teaser out there.
I'm gonna make a message board devoted just to Star Wars, an ICQ room.
But we are also, Green Man Gaming partnered, and also Humble Bundle partnered. We will get that link up shortly once I actually get the links from them. But that all being said and done, we are going to get right into it. Typically how we organize our podcast, we do news pieces from around the world, all dealing with PC gaming. All trending topics are just things that we really are interested in. So you kind of don't have a choice but to sit there and listen, so haha. And
we try to keep them interesting.
Exactly. We always try to keep some kind of... forefront news in there, and then we always finish off with our playlist, which are games that we've actually just been playing on our own and having either fun with or not fun with, and
mostly fun.
And at the very end, we do our free game of the week, which is our weekly feature where we allow you guys to have a free game absolutely immediately at the end of the podcast that you can go and play whatever you want. Please bear with me, my nose is currently clogged up and I can barely think, so like I said, allergy season, but we'll hopefully get through this all together now. Okay.
Now.
Very first topic on the list, which is very fitting for the time of year. Overwatch Halloween is returning on October 10th.
I'm so happy. I swear they better put that Halloween Mercy costume back up for grabs, because I missed that the first time around, and that is... So far, that's the one that got away. That's the skin of all the skins. I'm like, I want that one. And I
enter dream sequence of Tom and Witch Mercy running through a field slowly at each other.
And then she just slipped through my fingers like tears in the rain. I'm mixing my metaphors, but anyway, I want that witch skin. And it's so funny. Overwatch skins are so funny because you almost really never see them. They are just... for when you're looking through the hero roster or you're looking at someone else playing it. It's like, actually what I want is everyone else on Earth who plays Mercy to get
that skin.
That's my wish. That's my Make-A-Wish Foundation wish. Is I want every Overwatch player who plays Mercy to have the Halloween skin because it's so great. It's wonderful.
You know what they say, Tom? Be the change you want to see in the world.
Exactly. I will become a benefactor, and I will send. I don't know. I guess you can't even buy it.
You can't even buy them. No.
Can you buy like Loot Crate?
You can technically buy them though if you get enough coins, and then you can purchase it if it's available during the season. That's
only new to like this, earlier this year. So when they had the Halloween event, you couldn't just individually buy the Mercy skin.
But that was old news, Tom. This is
that was back
that was
then.
last year.
That was
Come on.
then. This is now.
Exactly. Now that's like I felt the same way when I finally got my Santa Torbjorn skin. I still use it. Like regardless of season, I'm a Santa Torbjorn. That's the only skin I will ever play as Torbjorn. So
and now does that one? Some of them have like specific voices to the skin. Is that one?
If it does, I haven't noticed it.
Yeah.
I just know it. You know, it makes up his turret. That's the best thing about Torbjorn. Like
with the Christmas trees.
Yeah, he has a big Rudolph nose and a little I love it. I absolutely adore it. But also my Reaper skin is one of my favorites, and that's the bluish kind of winter one with the like neon blue coming out everywhere. I love that.
Yeah,
skin.
he looks like a Warcraft character.
Exactly. I don't know. There is something about Overwatch skins. I know they don't do much besides visuals. They're kind of like TF2 hats. You know, you do it just because you want them, and the fact that.
But like TF2, you at least could get different guns or weapons because I remember I played the Scout.
You could always do that, but people still fought over hats more than they fought over weapons.
Absolutely. But I played the Scout a lot, and I replaced this baseball bat with a candy cane. I loved it. I was so great just because you could see this giant candy cane. The only real weapon to use is the
fish. That's the only real weapon to use as a Scout. Just so that you can say in the corner it says you got fished.
Yeah.
Has zero benefit to it. Probably is a worse melee item than everything else.
It's just
purely just for the pwnage factor of you got beat by a fish.
Yeah.
It's
like I ain't even mad. I ain't even mad that you just killed me with a fish.
There'd be whole matches where that's all I would do. I'd just run around with the Scout just with only a fish. I'd be like 1-17, but that one kill was worth it.
Yep.
But
absolutely.
So yes. Overwatch Halloween is returning on October 10th. We have zero information, which is kind of a counterproductive for why we're telling you. But we just know it's happening. They have not said whether or not what skins will be available, if there's going to be more skins, what those skins will be, if there's going to be any special modes or anything else like that, similar to the... oh my God, is it Professor Dr. Junker?
Dr. Junkenstein, yeah.
Dr. Junkenstein event. So maybe we'll see more of that. Maybe we won't. Only time will tell. But that's going to be October 10th for all of you Overwatch addicts out there. Please, let us know. If you get a cool Halloween skin, send it to us. Send it to @AddictedToLoot on that Twitter. Let us see what you get. Plus, we'll probably be... we might be actually doing some featured Halloween Overwatch streaming to see what kind of costumes we can actually get. But
it's funny because I've talked about this a lot, where I love to play online games during Halloween because it's like this great gathering of everyone. That's like everyone's wearing Halloween-y costumes, aka skins, or if you're in MMO, you've got like Halloween-y looking stuff, change your paint scheme, whatever. Probably in racing games, all the cars are orange and black. I don't know. I should hop into the crew during Halloween, just see everyone's got skulls on their cars. That'd be cool.
It's Monster Mash on the radio.
But it's just great. Yeah, and it's great. It's a fun kind of excuse to just hang out like when we were all kids. You know, it's like a little Halloween party, but in today's video game world. And I love playing games during Halloween, but it's funny. I think this will be the second year in a row where the prime game I'm playing is Overwatch.
Yeah, most
Halloween.
likely. I
as
do
far
the
as
same
an
thing.
Online collection.
Between Halloween and Christmas, I'm almost exclusively on Overwatch. I might not touch it the rest of the year, but those are at least the two that I play Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
So most likely I'll be dusting off the old Overwatch.
We'll also be playing Destiny.
That's right.
That will be out.
Not too long after. Also...
Not too long before. 24th?
But it's October 10th is Halloween. Is the Overwatch.
Oh, I'm talking about Halloween season. Halloween itself is...
Oh, yeah. That's exactly.
Yeah, so it'll be Overwatch, Destiny.
This is going to be a very busy month. You know that?
Yeah.
It's going to be a very busy month. But we'll get to that in a second. Also, Cuphead is a kind of a 2D... What do you even call it? 2D kind of...
Boss rush.
Exactly. It's kind of like a throwback to the old days of the Nintendo and things like that, where it was just a 2D screen where you walk back and forth in the plane and you shoot things. You just hop and shoot, hop and shoot, hop and shoot. it's kind of, some people have actually called it the cartoon version of Dark Souls, but it's out now, and it's actually had a really great reception. A lot of people, actually, the only time that I've actually seen a somewhat negative review of Cuphead is that it might be too hard. That's it. Like, people have said that, if you enjoy really tough, really hard games, just like Dark Souls, or any Dark Souls-like, if that's going to be a new genre, it'd probably be a game right up your alley. Main reason why we've always loved it, and why we've always featured on here, is the aesthetic is incredible. I mean, the aesthetic is exactly what pulls us into this game.
Yeah, I have strong opinions about Cuphead. I have never seen a game that I feel sadder about probably never getting, because I love the look of it. It looks like 1930s or late 20s cartoons, very much drawing from that era of cartoon, outright homaging certain characters and designs. But the crux of the game, every single review that I've read says this is one of the hardest, most frustrating games you'll ever play. But it's so, it's such a relief when you beat it. No, if you're telling me it's hard and frustrating, that's an immediate no. I'm sorry, but it's an immediate no, because
it's funny to say, because it's like a cutesy, cartoony,
I know.
Like, it's so lovable, but at the same time, it's like a bullet hell boss rush.
Oh, I don't like bullet hell games. I don't like boss rush games. I don't like games that are
like roguelikes, Dark Souls.
Well, Dark Souls and roguelikes are different. Like,
agreed, but at the same time, this one's not truly a roguelike, but roguelikes are meant to be difficult. So that's what I meant. Like, it's a genre where it's meant to basically destroy you so that you can get better. Or kill you enough times until you learn.
Well, that's exactly it. Actually, you're touching on it, like a whole discussion right there, because the difference between a Dark Souls-like and a roguelike is that a Dark Souls-like is like the process itself is hard. Roguelikes, you die, but you just know immediately, like, well, because I died, I now have this and this and this. Or
you're not meant to get through on the first try. Like, if you do, it fails.
They're very
as a
similar
roguelike.
and very different all at the same time, because both of them, it is exactly it. You're not meant to get through on the first try, and it is something that's cyclical. You keep repeating and repeating and repeating, but there's just something, I think what changes for me about a roguelike, I was just streaming Heat Signature as a perfect example. It changes, the world changes, the map changes every time. So you die, yes, but you come back, and now there's a whole new set of parameters. There's a whole new environment, whole new set of enemies, different locations. So it's, if you like the idea of memorizing and repeating a sequence of events, Dark Souls likes are perfect. If you like the idea of, okay, I like all the elements here, but I want a new experience each time, roguelikes. Exactly. That's where I fall.
You fall closer to roguelikes, or you fall closer to... Yeah, okay. That would make sense to me.
Yeah.
To me, Cuphead is a game that, once again, it also is two-player, which is really cool for this. It's a perfect game that would be co-op. But, like you said, it's a game that I do want to enjoy, and I will eventually enjoy, as in, like, I'll eventually get it, but it's not going to be anywhere in the near future. It's probably going to be something on a Steam sale or something like that. But I still think that this is going to be a really great game. I think it's going to be a game that maybe a lot of people draw upon and talk about for a little while. Mm-hmm. And it was a completely hand-drawn game. I love that. I mean, it was completely 100% hand-drawn, which doesn't happen all that much anymore. Almost never anymore. So, I mean, it's all part of the appeal of this game. But it's out. It has a great reception. If you like anything that we've just said, 2D, bullet hell, boss rush, just cutesy things, or even just the aesthetic of it, I would love to hear whatever everyone else feels about it. Like, is it really as hard as they said, or what?
I was talking, I believe I was talking with Sam about this. If they either release a patch that's like, okay, fine, here's Tom level difficulty, noob, like, it's easy, it's a walk in the park. Apparently there's an easier difficulty, but you can't beat the game unless you play it on the regular one. But if they were just like, okay, we've made kid mode, like we've made toddler mode, so people like Tom could shut up. Or if there's a sequel maybe out there where it's a platformer, like just a straight up like Mario platformer, sign me up. Like, that would be great. But this is definitely something where I'm thrilled to look at the screenshots. I'm absolutely euphoric about the soundtrack. It's amazing. But I'll probably never pick up the game.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. I hate
Even
to
for
say
like
that.
a $2 Steam sale.
Even for a two, I just have no
Really?
interest
Wow.
in playing a game that
That's just that hard. That
is
unforgiving.
purported to be that. Yeah.
Nah, well, I could definitely respect that. Well, moving right along. Another game that we talked about a few times on the cast, Vaporum, I think is how we decided. That
Yeah, we never.
I don't think we ever fully decided. But
Vaporum?
Vaporum, I think, is how you say it. It's a. I'm not even sure how you say it. It's a steampunky dungeon crawler kind of D&D alike, where it's kind of grid-based, isometric, where you move one grid at a time, one spot at a time, and it's kind of
Is it dungeon crawler? Is the name of the genre?
I would say it's a dungeon crawler. I mean,
Yeah.
typically you're working your way through a dungeon like you would if you were a D&D character. You move one square, does anything happen? No. You move another square, does anything happen?
Right.
No.
I like your demonstration. You move one square. It's like,
Yeah.
I've
It's
hit
kind of
a
like
wall.
a limit. You never
go
officially
this
get to
way.
the screen. But it officially is out now, so if you ever remember us talking about that and were interested in it, go check it out. It is available out on Steam.
Yeah, I might get this. I like the look of it.
It's just... I absolutely love dungeon crawlers. They're probably one of my highest ranked genres for myself. But... Well, A, no one's done a good one in a very long time. But B... I hate the immersion for me is broken when it's like almost pseudo turn based with the stepping and then like you move one square.
It's part
the
and parcel
bat
with
moves one square. You move one
Yeah.
square. The bat moves one square. I much prefer like you start swinging your blade around or like you start casting like magic missile thousands
something
of times.
that's absolutely open and free, like
Yeah, you know, like
regular
Baldur's Gate,
RPG.
Diablo, anything else like that. Like what the hell was that other one with the? Oh, that's gonna annoy me now.
What,
But
champs?
no, it just had a second one that came out that everyone loved.
Perhaps you're thinking of the Elder Scrolls Skyrim.
No, I guess technically speaking, that would be what the hell. Oh, this is gonna annoy me now. But anyway,
The Witcher?
no, that's not even
What?
that's not even a dungeon crawler.
Oh, dungeon crawlers.
Come on. But no, we'll just keep.
Divinity?
No, I'm gonna keep looking for that.
Cuphead?
No, it's Torchlight.
Torchlight. Well, that's
It's
not
exactly what it's
super new, but
Yeah, it's new enough. It's a dungeon crawler. It's great. It's
well,
fun.
no, see, I wouldn't call that a dungeon
It
crawler.
is a
I'd call
dungeon
stuff
crawler.
like-
By
like-
definition, it's a dungeon crawler. You really,
I'd put Torchlight and Diablo as like an ARPG. You know?
yeah, but their primary thing is that you're in a designated map and or dungeon that you run around smacking loads of people and breaking up
Sure.
crates for gold.
I guess when I'm saying dungeon crawler, I'm thinking of the specific Legends of Grimrock thing, where it is you're on the grid, you're moving one square, one square, one square.
No,
Like,
I mean Diablo
original Elder Scrolls. What was it? Was it Daggerfall that did that?
like that, but no, like I've always considered dungeon crawlers more traditionally to be. Oh, maybe that's what is happening. More traditionally to be basically like a Baldur's Gate, a Diablo. They're all basically you're in
Sure.
you're on a town level. You go downstairs. You're now in a dungeon. You're crawling through the dungeon to get to the completion of the map. Those kinds of things. So that's what, at least in my personal opinion, that's what I label as a dungeon crawler. But the one thing that would hold me back here is the fact that it is kind of an immersion breaking start, stop. You only can really see the front, like you can't even see your character. It's first person view. I like the aesthetic of it and the idea is pretty cool. It's just I don't think I could ever get into a game like this. So
I'm itching for more Bioshock-isms, so that's definitely.
I mean, I'm
it's
always up
that
for more
particular brand
Bioshock,
of
but yeah, I
steampunk.
just don't know. It's just for me personally, I probably hold off on it, but I think a lot of people could end up liking this game, especially depending on which other games you kind of like. Speaking of October 10th, Shadow of War.
Speaking of, oh yeah, we were Overwatch.
We were talking about it's a few.
I'm like, that's a
We should have rearranged this a little bit better, but I realized there was a connection midway down the agenda, so I'm just using
Speaking
it.
of
Damn it.
refried beans, when did we talk about
Speaking
that? Do you
of
remember
Overwatch.
8 years ago.
Speaking
We
of
had that
Overwatch.
taco? I do actually.
Speaking of the dawn of time, October 10th is right around the corner, which also means that Shadow of War is right around the corner. Shadow of War is not less than, it's exactly 7 days away as of this recording on the
I didn't know it was
3rd.
that close.
Yeah, Shadow of War is releasing on the 10th. Oh my god, it's incredible to think that it's already here. We've talked about this game
Yeah.
endlessly on this channel, so
Yeah.
I'm super stoked for it.
Shadow of War is the newest Shadow of Mordor game,
Sequel.
which is
Yeah.
and is a
It's-
Lord of the Rings Assassin's Creed.
Creed alike.
Alike. Assassin's Creed 'em up.
Exactly. But this one
With-
specifically features, just like the first one, it does feature a Nemesis system. However,
Yes.
which is Nemesis system is the kind of, let's just say, groundbreaking system that was implemented for the first game, where your actions and your playthrough actually determine basically your enemies in the game. So your enemies will
Yeah.
actually follow you. They will remember you. They will remember the things you did to them.
Well, it did the thing that I was talking about last week with Everspace. I love it when a game actually makes dying and respawning part of the game, like lore. Because in Shadow of Mordor, the original one, when you die, it's canon. Like you're resurrected.
People know that you died.
Every
yeah.
time you die, you're resurrected, like for real. So it's like
You get an organ.
BioShock actually did that too, right? It had the kind of
What
like
did?
original BioShock had these like vacuum tube cryo tubes that were like every time if you died, you came back in one of those.
I don't recall, honestly.
It was kind of like yeah, it's a really cool system, Neon Robot. It's like also just like in real life.
Hey, chat,
but-
welcome. But
yes,
yeah,
hi,
no,
chat.
I agree with you. It was kind of cool if you died and you had an orc go, "Didn't I kill you?" or something like that. You know,
Yeah,
it's just-
which was great. I love it when a video game goes meta, and this is like double meta because it's like it goes meta and then brings it all the way back in.
yeah. I also like the fact that you could like you think you kill an orc and he comes back later with like half his head covered in metal, going,
Right.
"Oh, you think you killed me?" And then just
Yeah.
like I
You only
love
chopped off half my head. You should have done the whole thing.
I absolutely love that. So
Yeah.
this is a big development for gaming in terms of a system. Basically, it's almost like a oh my god, like a sentient kind of game, if you will, in the sense
Yeah.
that it learns from the player, it creates its own history around the player, and basically every player has a unique experience because of it. I might have fought someone that you never fought, or maybe I fought someone that killed you because you're on my friends list, and you could be like, "Revenge Tom's death," and like that was always something I really liked. But in Shadow of War, the one that's coming out on October 10th, speaking of Overwatch, it was the best thing about this one is that not only do you do that for your enemies now, you can do it for your allies. So the
Yes.
whole point of Shadow of War is that you're building an army yourself to take on the armies of evil that you faced in Shadow of Mordor. So if you are a Lord of the Rings fan, you're basically constructing your own army of orcs to fight the orcs of Mordor, more or less. But this time,
More or less.
Mordor or less. But you actually get the chance to recruit your own people, have your own army, build your own allies. Your allies have a chance to turn on you. They could they could flip sides and be like, "Haha, you're in a trap now." Or you can have the same thing where your ally saves you during mid-battle. You could convert an enemy into a friend by force, really.
Yeah, I remember that being. It's really funny
The
because
domination ability.
yeah, I remember that being a big ethical discussion around the first game, and I feel bad that I didn't get into that. Like,
In
there was this
what
whole
way?
thing
The
of,
fact
like,
that like you're forcing
you're
someone
mind
against their
controlling
will.
orcs. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're mind controlling orcs. You know how this isn't right, and I was like, this doesn't really bother me. I felt so bad. Like,
Maybe from an existentialist point, or like from like an outside of a game point,
there
but
were
from
people
inside the
who
game,
were-
it's just like this is perfectly canon for Lord of the Rings. It's
yeah,
like
there were people who were really fazed by this, and it was like there were articles that were written like, you know,
Yeah.
I hate the idea that there's this domination ability that you can use to, you know, control orcs to work for you. I was like, okay, I'm
have you
playing a video
played
game, so
have you played a video game before?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like this is not.
I
abnormal?
technically The Sims is an existential crisis if you're gonna go by those rules.
I'm playing God. Ha ha ha.
Who am I to tell this man he should pee?
Who am I to burn this guy in his own room with Johnny Rocket's 5-finger set, the
Well-
4-finger rocket set?
To be fair,
You know what? But I never thought about that. But that is kind of interesting because I actually thought my initial impression was that in Shadow of War, your allies are using the same domination system. There was at some point in time where they said you could potentially get an ally for like saving an orc's life or sparing them or something like that, which I still think sounds kind of weird. But I'm not sure if it's purely dominating or if it's also you could dominate or you could get them through a different manner.
well,
But-
the video they released, the kind of, I think it was around E3, had him mind controlling this giant orc named Bruce.
Oh yeah,
And his
People love.
mentality, you know, he does the thing where it's like, you work for me now. And literally the orc was just like, yeah, cool, that doesn't phase me. All right, I'll work for you.
Well, A, he's
So,
mind controlled, but B,
yeah, but even
mean-
then, it wasn't like, yes, master. It was just like, yeah, you
Cool.
present a compelling argument.
it's basically like the forced hand wave. It's not like they're you're basically just controlling their opinion versus actually like puppeting them. You know, it's
Oh
kind
god,
of like
what are you willing to bet that there's going to be the story beat where it's like, you know, the domination where he grabs a guy's like maybe near final boss, grabs him by the head and he's like, you think that'll work on me? And then he controls you.
I didn't think about that, but that would be kind of interesting. That would be kind of cool.
And all of a sudden, all of
You
those
swap
orcs that you've
sides.
turned to your side are now working for Sauron.
That would be kind of interesting. That would be kind of a cool twist. But
You are Sauron.
bum bum
I know that already is like not possible,
Holy
but-
Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah. Spoilers!
It's been like 20 years. I think the statute of limitations on spoilers is over. I say within 10 years, it's over. Probably
Don't tell me
within 5
who
years.
Luke's father is.
I am your father. But I'm actually super excited for this game. I actually have pre-ordered it. If you still want to pre-order it, there's 7 days to pre-order. There's 3 tiers. There's a standard tier, there's a silver tier, and a gold tier. The only difference between the tiers, normal is obviously just pure vanilla base game. Silver tier, you get, I think, 1 unique army member automatically, like one special orc automatically. And then you get a few of the DLCs. The gold package is 4 like super awesome orc army allies and all the DLCs from it look like. It looks like it's not a season pass. It looks like it lists like 4 or 5 specifically. It lists a bunch of them. I guess they already know which expansions and DLCs that you're going to be releasing. So if you look at the 3 different tiers, that's the difference. The top tier maxes out at $100, and obviously it's 60, I think 80, then 100 are the 3 tiers. But if you are interested in it, they are still available, and I'm super excited for this. I can't wait to make my own army of orcs because you could organize how you want to go in battle. You could say like, oh, I really need heavy fighters, so you have really armored Yorkai or something like that. Then you have like riding hunters on wolves or wogs rather. Sorry, Lord of the Rings-ish.
Wargs.
Or like you can completely change up your battle strategy depending on what enemy you're fighting and how they're fighting. When you dominate an area or like make a keep or something like that, you get to choose which one of your allies or which one of your like underlings rules it, which I think is super cool because you could just reward someone that's been loyal to you from a role playing standpoint, or maybe you just choose
But
to
how loyal are they really?
stop sowing distrust in my orcish army. Damn it! I'm
You
gonna be
have
sitting
too
there.
much confidence in you.
I'm gonna start up the game and I'm gonna hear
Right.
Tom's voice, or is he?
yeah. Orc mind control. Or is
Is he?
Get out
Stab,
of
stab. How are you gonna do this battle? You have 0 army. I can't trust anyone.
I can't trust them. No,
Damn it,
I'm
Tom.
I don't want to burst your bubble now that you've pre-ordered it, but I'm waiting on reviews. But
I know.
have a hard time believing it's going to be anything short of good. You know, it's just short, like something like, oh, it's buggy or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a chance of that. There's always going to be a chance of that. I actually got burned on the original one because I wasn't. The very first time I played
I
it, I
remember
wasn't
that.
super.
I'm surprised that you ended up turning around on it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because when I very first played Shadow of Mordor, I was really kind of just like, eh. I wasn't like, I didn't think it was a bad game. I just didn't think there was anything special about it. So I played from what I thought to be further in, but it actually turned out to be like only like a quarter way through. I let it go for a very long time, up to the point where Shadow of Mordor got announced, and that was the only time that made me actually go back and play it. But when I played it a second time, I actually really liked it. So I actually liked it more than I thought I would. So I'm glad I don't know. It was one of those things where I said, it's coming out in 7 days. Maybe you should pre-order it. I'm like, impulse buy, click. Like, it was literally just like that. Like, it wasn't... I typically wait on reviews for stuff like this, but it's one of those things where, like, I'm going to know... I know that the entire time this is going to be out, I'm going to want to be playing it.
Right.
So it's
I'll
kind
have
of
it
like...
on day one.
Yeah, I mean, but if day one comes out and it's like, oh, this thing doesn't run on anything that runs Windows, I'm going to be like, God damn it, pre-order.
Well, now I'm, spoiler alert for a little bit later in the cast, but we were talking last week about the Call of Duty World War II open beta.
Yeah.
And it didn't run on my computer, so I didn't end up playing it. So that's still something that I'm tentatively look at now when a game comes out. It's like I'm so glad that Destiny 2 had an open beta because it's like, oh, it worked. Good.
Hooray!
Okay. This is a yes.
But anyway, Shadow of War is going to be coming out in 7 days. I will be covering that probably through streaming, considering it's not a good YouTube series, especially for how long it's probably going to be. But we'll see. But I definitely will be trying to cover that here on twitch.tv/addictedloot. Fun fact, the Star Wars Battlefront 2 open beta is this weekend. Last weekend was Call of Duty World War II open beta. This weekend is Star Wars Battlefront 2 open beta, which I really want to try. I didn't play the first one. I played the original 2. I didn't play the newest.
Which recently just got like a major
overall.
Yeah, like the multiplayer for the original 2, which came out 2005 or so.
Ish, yeah.
Is like alive and well on PC. Yeah, because I played that senior year.
Yeah, the second one came out about senior year. But I love both those games. I didn't play the update. I didn't play the new first one, Battlefield 1, but I'm super excited for Battlefield 2. I actually do want to try it just to see if it's something that I do want to buy. But I have a feeling that you're excited for this.
Oh, I'm so excited for this. I'm really bummed that I'm going to be gone all weekend. I won't be able to get to play it. I might, if I could like wrangle like 5 minutes on Sunday, like night, like late at night.
Right before midnight.
Literally, like before it goes offline, just to know that it runs. I like, we've talked ad nauseum about it. I liked the new Battlefront enough, but I didn't stick with it, as neither did a lot of people. It was online only, or multiplayer only, and Battlefront 2 is releasing with an apparently well, produced campaign, which looks like it's going to be nice. I think I put a tweet out that was like, just give me some sweet, pulpy Star Wars nonsense and I'll be happy. Like, I don't care if it's literally like, you must crush the Republic. Yes, cool, sold. I want it. I don't care anything else. Just give me that.
Well, did you read the latest tidbit about the campaign?
Depends.
Based on did you watch the latest trailer?
Yes, with the latest
trailer.
Kind of...
Yeah, the latest trailer kind of goes a little bit more into the campaign by saying that the Emperor is dead.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, this is supposed to be between the whole Endor situation to, I think, Force Awakens. I think it's a span between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens that this takes place. So of course the Emperor died
between episodes
6 and 7.
Yeah.
So technically, the Emperor died, and I remember seeing this in a really early trailer of it's this kind of like red figure with a holographic face of the Emperor, and I thought, they're going to do the thing just like they do with the Death Star. Like we can't really let these Star Wars symbols go, so we're just going to bring them back and bring them back and bring them back. There's probably going to be Darth Maul with his cybernetic legs and stuff like that. But a part of me loves that. A big part of me loves that. I want that stupid Star Wars nonsense. I mean,
that's the one thing that's one of the reasons why I love the Old Republic was the starting videos where it's just like Star Wars just threw up over the screen and you're just sitting there going, yes. I love those opening cinematics.
Yeah. I'm pretty ready to start playing more of the Old Republic, but I know that there are other games right now that I should be playing, so I'm like holding up.
But it is literally Tom o'clock for MMORPGs for that time of year.
And I'm holding out for Destiny to be the one.
I was going to say, I'm surprised I haven't heard about you getting the itch. For all those who don't know, Tom...
Oh, I've got the itch.
Tom gets a massive itch about October to start playing some online MMOs.
Yep.
I can't fault him because he usually talks me into whatever one he's going to be playing within 5 seconds. Hey, Brian, I have a new MMO. I'm playing it. What do you mean? What?
It's my Great Pumpkin. Yeah, Ambling Panda.
Hey, Ambling Panda, how you doing?
Great taste. You've got great taste.
Two giant Addicted to Loot gold coins way up.
Yeah, I love Star Wars: The Old Republic, and I could bang on about it forever.
We have.
I have banged on about it forever.
We definitely have. Go check out any one of our past 20 podcasts.
Pretty much once every other episode I talk about it. It's great. I love it so much. But yeah, so Star Wars Battlefront 2, to bring it kind of sat in front of a giant
stormtrooper. Yeah. Good times. Good times.
That being said, I'm excited for Battlefront 2. I do like the multiplayer. I do like Star Wars Battlefront's multiplayer, and in fact, I played enough of it. I played a good deal of the first one.
But I thought your main issue with the first one was you could only pew pew so many times before it kind of got dry. Like once it fulfilled the meter of yep, this is Star Wars, that you kind of started losing interest in
it was a little bit of that. I just ended up getting more interested in other games at that time, and that's one way to derail you. Yes, believe it or not, I can actually be thrown off topic.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, no, I guess it's a little bit of what you're saying. Yeah, I kind of just lost interest in the fact that that's all it was. I'm excited at the idea of maybe a one and done campaign, is what it is. A Star Wars
like
campaign.
hoping, crossing your fingers for like a Titanfall 2 kind of
Titanfall
situation.
Titanfall 2 situation, exactly. I'm hoping for something that's like a big cinematic, goofy campaign. Even if like the campaign missions are just loosely cobbled together multiplayer missions that are like, hey, make sure you hold this capture point against the blue team. I mean, the enemies. You know, that's fine. That's fine as long as it's got those big goofy cutscenes in between. I will probably get this even if I don't get a chance to play the beta.
I don't know. I'm curious to see what direction they take the single player, because if you go to Titanfall 2, the campaign from a handling standpoint, it didn't feel like a multiplayer game. Like even though
it was
the controls,
corridors and
I mean the controls were the same, the momentum was the same, the weapons were the same, Titans were the same, but it didn't feel like a multiplayer. It didn't act like, oh, go capture the point or go kill 50 people.
Well, that's what Titanfall 1 did, because Titanfall 1, a lot of people forget, actually had a campaign, had a quote story, which was literally what I'm saying, like 6 or 7 multiplayer missions.
Exactly.
That just had voices saying like, hey, we need you to do this for about 20 minutes while we do this thing over here. And it's like 15 minutes in. Oh no, so-and-so is dead. We need you guys to continue holding that point for 20 or so minutes, you know.
Hooray.
It just was literally a multiplayer match.
I'm just hoping that I'm just curious if there's going to be... I think we know at least that in Battlefront 2 that you're following one central protagonist.
Yes, I did in Versa.
Yeah, I think you're following one central protagonist. So I'm curious to see how they treat that and how they behave throughout the campaign. But it should be interesting to see, considering, you know, the multiplayer has so many different classes and, different classes, different play styles, different equipment. I'm curious to see how they wrap it all into one while doing the campaign. So it'd be interesting to see. Bottom line, the game looks absolutely incredible. No surprise.
Well, that's the thing. It's funny. I think we talked about this even last week, where when Battlefront came out, it's like, this is the best looking Star Wars game I've ever seen in my life. Battlefront 2 is using like the exact same tech, and it's like, yeah, but is it going to be good? You know? So it's funny how these things can happen.
Sad times, folk. Very sad times. Speaking of Overwatch, no, actually sadder times. Hawken, which probably many people don't actually know about. Hawken was a giant robot version of a multiplayer arena shooter kind of thing, in the sense that there was a map, there was team versus team, and you just tried to murder each other. It was an incredible game that I love, that I probably talked about in like the first 5 or 10 episodes of our podcast. Somewhere way back there. I seriously love this game. It was too freemium for me, even though it didn't stand in the way of actually enjoying the game. It just moved it at a snail's pace. I actually just got caught.
I like snails.
Escargot. I actually got caught for Al Francais fans, which there probably is like 2 of them, but. I got caught up in other games, so I stopped playing it. But Hawken was a game that I really loved because I really got the sense of, like, the scale of piloting a mech so right. Like, it felt super clunky. It didn't feel like you were just, like, zooming around the streets like an anime Gundam. It was basically like, you know, run forward, ka-ching, ka-ching. And that's like, I'm at max speed, ka-ching. Oh my god, look at me go. And it's
least favorite part of Titanfall.
which is funny because you are purely a Pilot player and I'm purely a Titan player. So it's kind of funny how these things work out.
I'm a Lucio, like.
But I love the fact of that aspect of the game because there was like super heavy mechs, there were super lightweight mechs. And I was surprising because I actually went for more of the agile mechs versus the very like heavily armored mechs, which is opposite my playstyle usually. But I just liked how they handled. But the only reason why we're bringing it up now is that it's officially being dropped support-wise from PC. It's going to still be PlayStation and Xbox supported, but they're removing it from. They're moving all the PC servers to focus on development. They didn't actually say development of what, but the studio kind of broke its silence after like 3 years to say, yeah, we're pulling it down. We're only going to do console support just so that we can focus our other assets on different projects. Which it's unfortunate. But I would invite people just to check it out, just to see it, because I think it was a really cool game, and I think if anything, just familiarize yourself with it, because it was a lot of fun. It was an awful lot of fun. It was a really good game. Sad that it's being dropped, but yeah, I think it was like at its very last, like towards the very end of its lifetime. It had like maybe like 30 concurrent players or 40, maybe something like that. But still, it's a shame. But all things must come to an end.
Odds are when they say working on development, they're not gonna. This is not being developed further.
No, I doubt they're gonna do like Hawken 2, new and improved. I love it, but I doubt it. I really don't think they're going to.
They might.
Who knows? Maybe that's next week's podcast. They might be listening in right now.
We'll be talking about Hawken
every single time. Whenever we make some kind of predictions, usually the following week we're like, guess what? We were right. Because
boy, I'm so glad Destiny 2 came out all these weeks early. How great was that?
Hey.
Get on this, Bungie.
But moving right along, there is another. I think what we were talking about. Final Fantasy 15 a couple weeks ago as a PlayStation exclusive, moving over to PC. Well, we have another one for you.
Last week.
Yeah, it might have been last week. We have another one for you. Samurai like. How do you put this? Samurai Souls like Nioh, Nioh. It's coming to PC with a complete edition. So this is basically Samurai Dark Souls, just a super like high fantasy kind of setting. Very much a very difficult, very combat heavy, combo heavy action game, featuring all different sorts of. It looks like range as well as melee-based weapons. But it looks like a super solid game. All of the console versions of it got extremely high reviews, extremely great receptions. It's probably not something that I would check out. Aesthetically, it would be. But I just don't know because I'm not a huge Dark Souls-alike kind of person. And sorry for anyone in chat. I've been noticing my webcam's been bugging out. I've been trying to troubleshoot it. No idea why. It decides to act up. But anyway, please disregard.
Sombra's going to show up, and I'm going to run away with her in a beautiful fantasy land.
But yeah.
I like the look of this. I obviously, as was expressed earlier this episode, even don't get on with Dark Souls games, but I really like the look of it. I like the kind of vibe of it, and I know that a lot of people really liked this Nioh. So. It could be one of those things where, like the Surge, where it got an actual demo and I played it and I thought, okay, cool. I've felt it. I've experienced it. This is cool. I'm not going to buy the game, but I know what this feels like. And actually, I can't say enough for that demo of the Surge. That did a lot to teach me about why Dark Souls games are good, like why people like that kind of game. I thought, I now finally in my life see why this is fun. I don't know if I can use the word fun. Why people enjoy the challenge of this, where it's invigorating to say, but I can master this. So, yeah, Nioh, PS4 exclusive, coming to PC with all its DLC.
Go check it out. I believe that this giant string of letters means a game by its cover.
Yes. Oh, is that me? Is this me?
That would be mostly you.
Yeah, yes. So there's this great game jam that's been going on. I think this is the second year of it. May have been going on for more than that. But it's called A Game by Its Cover. And what happened is somebody or somebody's put together a page, kind of like a Tumblr page almost, Tumblr blog of fake Famicom case covers. So they put together these fake video game covers of that era, and they're just these cool, offbeat, neat little things as far as an art perspective. And what happened is someone put together this jam and is like, make games based on your favorite one of these covers. So you'd have a cover like there's one where it's just this like very simple translucent like fried egg, and a person made a game called Hell, and I played it. It's just like really creative, unique, random thing.
Hell?
Kind of defies explanations, like Frog Fractions. It's a game about chickens and eggs and demons. But it's so cool, and all the games that have been made of it, you can go and play. We will, of course, link that on our website, but I think if you just go through Itch and look for a game by its cover,
You probably find it.
yeah, you'll find it. It's a cool, creative idea for a jam. I love the idea of someone
Could
just
you
saying,
describe? Do they have the I guess the cover for this year's inspiration?
it's a whole host of covers. It's a whole page of different covers, and so you can choose one.
You can choose any one of them. Okay.
Yeah, and I think some of them actually do have like mini descriptions, so you can say like, all right, yeah, I'll use that for inspiration or whatever. But I think it's a really creative idea for a game jam, and some creative games come out of it. So it's a cool concept that I'm super duper behind. I think it's rad.
And finally, just to leave you with an interesting little tidbit of information for gaming paraphernalia. So,
Hey, to our friends who have money to spend.
so a lot of people out there, we like to collect different types of geek paraphernalia, nerd paraphernalia, different types of, very fancy light-up keyboards, light-up headphones, all sorts of things, Lucios. We are all geeks. We are all welcome here. This is one of the reasons why you all joined us, because we are addicted to all this loot. Ha 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 ha. But some of you might be thinking, you know what? I really need a new pair of headphones. And you might also be thinking, man, I really love Assassin's Creed. And you know what? Origins looks like a lot of fun. Imagine if I could have headphones that were based on Assassin's Creed Origins. Good thing for you. That is a thing. However, it's going to cost you $16,000. And you want to know why? That's because these headphones are actually made with 18 karat gold. You heard that right. 18 karat gold gaming headphones. Don't get me wrong. They look insane. They look incredible. But there is no way in hell that I'm paying $16,000 for these things. And not only do you get that, you get like a golden headstand. Literally a stand of a guy's head with them on it to use as like a holder. Oh my god, you need to check these things out. Wait, you also happen to be in possession of a $60,000 complete lack of reason of common sense.
Look, let me be real here. I just spent about $0, and I too have a lovely pair of
I was really wondering what you were doing.
Of Assassin's Creed headphones by Dre.
But
Cheap as hell. You can make them at home.
Canceled.
If you don't have 18 carats, 1 carat will do. Oh, it's a little too bright. It's there we go.
Hey,
yeah,
oh my God.
You can substitute with 1 carat. I am willing to give these to any listener who's interested. So just write in to Addicted to Loot. That's 911 Addicted to Loot Way, Beverly Hills.
Really, 911.
9991 Addicted to Loot Way,
Beverly Hills, California.
Colorado. 555. Act now, and we will throw in the carrot. So.
To be fair, at this point, Assassin's Creed is now way more about ridiculous merchandise and collector's editions than it is the actual game. I don't know what you're talking about, Ambling Panda, but I have to put on my official Assassin's Creed Unity hat, and my Assassin's Creed pirate ship is waiting outside, so I'm going to take that. And your Assassin's Creed bathrobe.
And wear my Assassin's Creed bathrobe, officially licensed products of Ubisoft.
Before we get taken down. But yeah, I mean, I would say go check them out. They definitely are super cool headphones, but you can be the judge on whether or not you want to buy them for $16,000. But we're going to end on that really fun little tidbit of merchandise. I don't know. Do you think there's a limit of something going just too far in the sake of merchandising?
Not at all.
Well, when you get the
Absolutely
when
not.
you can get the Assassin's Creed Origin Space Bugatti for yours exclusively.
I'm telling you, they missed a clever opportunity to release Assassin's Creed brand oranges through Sunkist. Like, that would be amazing. Assassin's Creed oranges. Look, that would be great.
Or like
Little stickers on them.
you say
They have little
Assassin's
blades inside.
Or you say Assassin's Creed Orange or Assassin's Creed Apple Juice. You open it up, it's actually orange juice on the inside because it's disguised. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love that.
Assassin's Creed oranges would be
The
apples,
Assassin's
wouldn't
Creed cereal, where the hidden prize inside is just a hidden blade that's carried out of the box.
it?
You
I
open
love
it up,
Assassin's Creed
shing.
cereal.
It's just like a hidden blade. You're
Part of
eating.
a balanced breakfast, and it's
It's
him
someone's eating like
balanced
a
on
a normal sized bowl, like just a really normal sized bowl of cereal. Then all of a sudden it just explodes on them.
Assassin's Creed breakfast. Now with more caltrips. What?
Oh God, caltrips, choking hazard.
Yeah, I love it. And you have it with Assassin's Creed orange juice.
I'm kind of curious to see how far they're willing to go. Next line. Lindsay Lohan did a perfume, so I think no.
Yeah,
Just no.
Yeah. That's
So no. Thank you, chat.
It's funny though because I know people who just eat it up, who absolutely eat it up. And
Assassin's Creed perfume. I
Here,
know.
smell this handkerchief. What?
It's either that or it smelled like nothing, and it's just called like disguise or something like that, or blending with the crowd. Or I think Thomas died, so we might move on. So there's new openings for the Addicted Loop podcast co-host. So please write into 9991 Beverly Hills, Colorado 555-555-555.
Oh, back from the dead, and I have opinions. Musty Leather and BL. Oh God.
I never thought about that, but yeah, that probably would be more
Smells like historical
appropriate.
inaccuracies.
What do you mean? There's plenty of historical accuracies. Did you know that Blackbeard rode a unicorn?
Boy, honestly though, I'm still so jazzed for that like discovery mode.
Oh,
Origins.
I was like, for Blackbeard riding a unicorn? I'm like,
Yeah,
I
like,
literally
no
just
shit,
created
I-
this market. I need to write a patent real quick.
Blackbeard Unicorn. That's my T-shirt company. I'm gonna start Blackbeard Unicorn T-shirts and printing.
You know what? If we probably could start a secondary website called Blackbeard Unicorn. We'd probably go like viral in like a day versus a year of this.
This legitimately titled podcast. Blackbeard Unicorn and video games.
Welcome to Addicted Loot, where we do we're a giant Blackbeard Unicorn conglomerate.
Segue.
So we're gonna talk
I
about
have
our
to pee
playlist
so
now.
bad.
Is that what this means? Is that what that means? For all those who are listening to the audio version of this podcast, Tom might have been pantomiming something. Speaking of playlists, so we're gonna get into our playlist section now after we left all that wonderful news behind, since Tom's apparently so freaking impatient. But
Don't you have games to talk about?
maybe. Oh yeah, you're
What?
still here. But so I actually did play a few different things. I actually was able.
Oh, that sounds great.
Okay.
I agree.
So the real truth has come out, and Tom really needed to excuse himself real quick, to the point where his chair is still spinning. Say hello to the chair, everybody. Give some chair love out on stream. So I actually did get a chance to play the Call of Duty World War II beta. Unfortunately, Tom wasn't able to. It kept on crashing on his rig, so he was not actually able to participate. But I actually was, and a few friends of mine that I actually was able to kind of loop into a discussion on the game. My main thoughts on it are, it's exactly what I expect. Good, bad, or indifferent. It was a Call of Duty game with basically a lot of World War II paintbrushing over the top of it. It just felt like a very modern meta first-person shooter. I mean, it felt like Battlefield 1. It felt like everything. I mean, it's solid. It's well-crafted. It's just, there's nothing surprising about it, which is the one thing I really disliked about it, was the fact that there wasn't anything really great with it. It was...
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
Are you okay? You look like you broke a knee.
No. I got two.
But anyway, so that's the main reason. That was like my main negative takeaway about the Call of Duty World War II beta was that
That was fast. You already talked about it?
I'm getting there,
Oh,
Mr. Speedy Gonzalez,
I mean, I've been here this whole time, but
Peter
I just
Tamalitis. But no, the one thing that the one negative I didn't took away from it was that there just was nothing special or surprising about it. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be, and which was I don't know. You can take it as good or bad. I just it's almost at the point where it was almost unsurprisingly enough to the point where it was just kind of got boring. Like I played a few matches and kind of went, "Yep, I know exactly what this beta is going to be like," and logged off.
did it leave you feeling good about the single player? Potential.
Potentially, yes. I mean, everything is there. I mean, the guns handle well. They sound incredible. The visuals are freaking insane. I can only imagine what this game's going to look like from the single-player perspective. It doesn't give me any type of confidence or changing confidence on what the quality of the single-player is going to be like. Visually, it will be fun. Mechanically, it's going to be solid. It's probably going to be a fun thing to play, but it could be like not Advanced Warfare, Infinity Wars. What's the newest?
That's the Avengers.
No, the latest, the Call of Duty before this one, the one that was like the Halo.
Infinite
Warfare. Yes, Infinite Warfare. I mean, it could be like that where people said like it's a cool game, but the campaign sucks. I mean, it would not surprise me that this could happen with this game. Like I said, I have cautious optimism that hopefully the single player is going to be good because I'm hoping for a good single player.
Yeah.
The building blocks are there, but kind of getting into the specifics of the beta, they're running a class-based system where there's like, close range, soldier, airborne, sniper, and all that fun stuff. You can customize your guns, you can customize your sidearms, you can customize your perks, you can level up your weapons, you can level up your soldier, you can level up each different class.
Stuff that keeps you playing match after match.
Yeah, but once again, there was nothing. They need to add more to it because there wasn't anything in there that would make me want to keep playing match after match. You know what I mean? There's
were you given all the guns and classes though, like for the beta?
Let's just say like the one I played, the soldier there's a standard soldier, the one that actually had the M1 Garand for the majority of the time. In 2 levels, which took me like maybe 2-3 matches, if that, I was able to unlock everything I wanted for it and my sidearm and the perk. So it's kind of like I was done there. I didn't really have any desire to go forward. Each class, if you level it up like once or twice, you could get the second tier of gun, which would then last you God knows how long. It's like first like baseline gun to second tier gun, maybe 15-20 minutes, if that. Second tier gun, the third tier gun would probably take you like a month. It's like the scale jump. It's like releases instantly. Then the next one's like you need to be level 15 to get it, and you're like, oh.
Do you think that it was scaled that way for the beta? Like,
you mean like they purposely made like an unsurpassable barrier so that no one...
Right. Like here's what it feels like to level up. Wow, this feels good.
I don't think so. It wouldn't. I don't know. My personal opinion is I don't think so. I think the beta was a pretty good representation of what this is going to be. And from a multiplayer standpoint, like I had everyone muted, but within my very first match, I already sat there going, I can remember the times when a 12-year-old would tell me to go screw myself. Like that was like, and my friend who
12, do you even know what that means?
But like one of my buddies was saying the same thing. He's just like, I don't want to keep on playing the beta because that's exactly what this feels like. Like I played one match, and by the end of the match, everyone in chat and otherwise was just basically raining profanities on each other because everyone sucked, and you're just kind of like, this is what first-person multiplayer has come to, and this is why a lot of people might shy away from it, or maybe just will mute everything. And that's why originally like Overwatch was so good because it didn't have that culture. It might be somewhat fighting that culture now, but still.
Yeah.
That's that. So, it was. If you're just looking for a Call of Duty, Battlefield, Bad Company type of multiplayer, this game will be right up your alley. You'll like it. You'll love it. You'll be fine. Don't even bother hesitating. But for everyone else, I just don't know if I could say I would recommend getting it based on the beta. I personally would say don't buy it and wait for the reviews if you're looking for anything else besides the multiplayer. If you only care about multiplayer, just buy it. You'll be fine. And if you're a Call of Duty fan, you're going to buy it anyway, so just buy it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Ambley Panda, I can absolutely vouch for that. She says, unless you play Overwatch with me, in which case you'll have an A plus 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 time. She's great. She is really great in Overwatch. She's a ton of fun. I've never seen her get mad ever.
When I first read that, I'm like, what kind of word is he censoring? That's too many or too short of letters. I'm sitting there going, what? Oh, it just means plus.
Yeah, no, she's really cool. She and her husband both great Overwatch players, and I can vouch for them.
We can always have a Masters of Overwatch group party stream.
You're gonna win with them, so they're good peoples.
But like I said, that was at least my take on it. Do you have any specific questions about it? Since you didn't have a chance to, unfortunately, didn't get a chance to play it.
Did it feel good? Did it feel good to play?
Mechanically wise, the controls, the handling, everything felt right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It just felt like a modern day shooter. It didn't like feel anything special. All the guns acted the way you expect them to act. The single shots basically are single shots. Mm-hmm. You're sitting there going, okay, I'm just going to pause here for a second and snipe. And then you go to like the kill cam. And some guy looked through a tire spoke, through a half of a brick, through a broken window, through some guy's like loop in his shoe, and like shot your head, and you're like, how the fuck did that happen? Like that's
but like Call of Duty is the more fast-paced one, so you're not really.
I mean, it's super fast-paced. I mean, the maps are tinier. But the one thing I don't like about fast-paced, smaller mapped games, World War II was about like, you know, at least the beginning part of World War II had a lot of single-shot weapons and had a lot of single-shot rifles. You don't use those in a city setting. You don't go, oh my god, we're in the same room, M1 Garand. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, you're forced to instantly take, okay, I know in this map I'm taking a machine gun and a machine gun. In this next map I'm taking a machine gun and a machine gun. The next map, a machine gun. Like, there was not like, there's a few people occasionally in certain points of certain maps that you might be able to use a sniper. But even then, the sniper is like, from here to the other end of the wall, and you're just using a single shot. Like, that's really, I mean, that's my problem with it. It's just like, you don't get the sense of like, oh, maybe there's going to be a portion when there's an entire, you know, dead man's area where you have to try to get across where sniping works or single shots work. And also, like, everything is so perfectly pinpoint accurate all the damn time that you don't get you don't get that feeling of, I'm going to line a shot up. I'm going to actually take a shot. I'm going to have a gunfight. It's just like, da-da-da-da, bang. You know?
Yeah.
It's just like, you die instantly and repetitively over it. Everything just blows up. Run to the point, bang. Run to the point, bang. You know, like team deathmatch was always like spawn, kill one person, if you're lucky, dead. Like it's like it's exactly what you expect from a Call of Duty game. That's what I'm saying. It's like there's zero surprise. Like I haven't played
all the stuff that they've developed since the last
I haven't played a Call of Duty multiplayer since maybe. What was that? What was the Black Company? What was the Call of Duty special? Black Ops. Like maybe since Black Ops 2, maybe. Like it's been an extremely long time. And when I started to play the beta, I literally lost no time between the last Call of Duty multiplayer I've played. Like zero.
You know what the last one was that I played?
Maybe
Pacific. Ready for this? Maybe ready for this mental trip? The last Call of Duty multiplayer that I played.
World at War.
Was Modern Warfare 3 with Marissa.
Damn. For those who might not know, but still. That's what I'm saying. Like, I remember playing World at War, the last Call of Duty World War II actual game, which was a solid, amazing game from a single-player perspective. I remember playing the multiplayer. You literally could have skipped the entire time till now, and the only thing that changed was the graphics. Like that's what I'm saying. It's exactly what you expect it to be, good, better, and different. Exactly.
I was hoping to have had a chance to test it out, but I think you've answered all of my questions, which is unfortunate.
Like, I had, the other way I would put it would be, I had zero motivation to play the entire weekend of this. I played like 2 hours one night, and I'm just like, I have zero research I have to do on this. I'm completely done.
Yeah.
I can write my term paper on it.
And I don't think it's a situation where it's like, well, Call of Duty, you know, can't exist because Overwatch is stuff like this.
That's not even that. I mean,
they are apples and oranges.
I mean, what do you think of like a Battlefield competitor?
Apples and Assassin's Creed oranges.
But if you think of like a Battlefield comparator versus this, I probably would play Call of Duty World War II versus Battlefield 1.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, Battlefield and Call of Duty also, it's like I said, Call of Duty is the fast one and Battlefield is the slow one,
but
you know.
I remember playing Battlefield 1 and I did not think it was slow.
Well, I mean, in terms of the development of the match, like Battlefield, you spawn, You run to a vehicle. You go across the proverbial battlefield. You get to the combat.
I think
and then you're participating.
When we did the Battlefield 1 beta, I think our average lifespans were maybe 15 to 20 seconds.
Well, we were doing the. I'm thinking of like the battle. There's a name for it, but the like conquest mode in Battlefield.
The massive map one.
Yeah, where it's 60 v 60.
Then I would agree with you. Those ones
and
are.
Call of Duty is exactly what you're saying.
Super
spawn
compact.
die.
Yeah.
But
as I'm saying, I would if I think of the Battlefield 1 beta versus the Call of Duty World War 2 beta, I like this beta better.
Beta
like better. The better beta.
Better.
But
it's a better beta.
That's probably what I can say about it. That's why I said it's anyone else who's probably a Call of Duty fan or even pottering this game. You probably played the beta. You probably liked what you saw. You're probably maybe already pre-ordering it. So for anyone else who's on the fence, I would personally say stay there. If you're wondering about getting this game for the story mission, stay on the fence. Don't jump the gun.
Also, it didn't work on my computer, so who knows?
That's what I'm saying. So those were at least my takeaways with the game, specifically speaking. The other game I've been playing since release, which is a game that should come at no surprise to everybody, actually streamed it this past Friday. Call of Duty Total War Warhammer. No, Total War Warhammer 2.
Total War
Warhammer 2. Total War Warhammer 2 has finally released. It's finally out. And I finally got my chance to get my hands on it and play a little bit of it. I'm at the point where I still wouldn't say I have a full review because I've only played 2 of the 4 races. But so far, this game has had a vastly better release than Total War Warhammer 1, in my personal opinions. They did a much better job with crafting the game. I still am somewhat disappointed in the sense that some of my biggest objections with the first game still haven't been addressed in this game, and those being that the battles were super short and the sieges are just super dumbed down. Those are still exactly the same. They're exactly the same mechanics as they were before. But everything else outside of those 2 things has gotten better. Like, the campaign map is more diverse. It's the AI is much better. It's far more difficult. There's far more types of events that can spawn. There's a different type of gameplay mode that's motivating you through the entire time. Like, you can try to conquest the entire map, or you could try to do what's called, like, the Great Vortex quest, that if you get all of the rituals done, is kind of like a game winner instantly. The races, I think, they feel drastically different from one another, which is nice, because in the first one, you didn't really get that all too much initially. They kind of felt... They were different, but they still kind of felt the same. In this one, all 4... definitely are, they are definitely unique. They have their own unique playstyle. Each one is guaranteed to have this is what's majorly different about this playstyle for this race. They handle differently in battle. The units are much better. I think the scale of the units, the performance of the units is much better. The maps themselves are really great. Like, they actually have it in this game where if you're fighting a battle and you're paying attention, the lighting on the ground that you're on changes because the clouds that are moving actually change the lighting on the field.
That's cool.
Like, if you notice, it's subtle enough where you might not notice
stuff like that.
But you could see your unit be in shadow and then not in shadow. You're like, wait a minute, did something just? And if you turn your camera and go whoop, you actually can see the clouds moving, kind of thing, which is really cool.
And it's not just a skybox; it's actual.
It's actually they're moving, and then
the sun now.
It's you see a cloud. There's a cloud that's traveling with it on the ground.
That's cool.
The magic in this game, I actually feel got a few clicks up. I actually think it's actually more impactful, which is much better. I actually love the magic in this game. In the first one, it's kind of yay, psh. It did nothing, hooray! But it felt like something. This one actually seems like they have a little bit more of an impact on different things, which is nice. I actually like the diversity of it. I do like the diversity of the units. There's I wish they would. There are things I still wish they would have done different. So this is kind of the more the critiquing, critical portion of this impression and review. Things I wish I would have done differently. Still, I wish the battles actually lasted a little bit longer. I know there's a real. There's a mod for the first one that kind of helped that along, where you actually could slow the pace down, so that it felt a little bit more like the old historical titles. But that I I'm still having issues with. The siege mode being super dumbed down and super quick, I still have a major issue with, since that's the one thing in Warhammer that would make this game absolutely incredible, considering they did it in like Rome 2, and they just kind of stopped the sheer scale of cities.
The tech exists.
They have it. I mean, people
Yeah.
have modded it into the game.
Yeah.
They just chose not to do it that way because they're like, hey, we wanted to be arcadey, and yay. No, it's just no. But that's different. At least the Skaven race, because I've only played the Skaven race and the Lizardman race. The Skaven race, I wish they would have implemented slightly different, in a slightly different manner that would allow them to feel more Skaven-y, if that makes sense. But
not enough rats.
Well, because it even Warhammer Tabletop and Warhammer Lore, the Skaven are kind of like, they are a non-elite horde army. They literally, like, a prime strategy with the Skaven is you take slaves, thousands of the damn things, you throw them at them.
More like slavens.
Boo. Time to pun actually was a little bit longer today. It was about an hour and a.
Oh, I've been dropping them like carpet bombs, man. That's just one of many.
But
I've
anyway,
been assaulting this fortress.
The Skaven are a horde-based army where, like, literally a prime strategy is they throw enough slaves at their enemy that by the time the decent warriors get there, the other people are tired. Like, that's one of their strategies. Is like literally you do that, or you throw slaves at them to the point where they get tied up, butchering the slaves, and then you take a Gatling gun and shoot into combat, murdering whoever you hit. Like, that's how this game is function. In this game, their roster numbers are much larger, so you get the scale of a horde, but they don't function like one. Like for me, I feel like the Skaven would work better if like their cost was halved, their upkeep was halved, but their performance was also halved to the point where, like, you needed to take 2 full stacks to equal any 1 stack of another unit.
Sure.
But from a cost standpoint, you were able to do it. It's not like you got penalized for having, a weaker horde-based army. It's just, I went to the point where I want an entire map to be nothing but massive things of rats. Like, yes, they're probably not going to do a lot of damage. They're probably going to break early. But you get the feel of, I'm just a horde of rats trying to butcher something. And also, they left out some of, like, the very iconic Skaven units, like Giselles and things like that, which would have made the game a little bit better. They're still fun to play, don't get me wrong. I still like playing this game, and I like the how they function in terms of the campaign movement, as well as the campaign function, as well as how their buildings work and everything else. Every race, their building trees definitely feel unique. They definitely have their own special, like, little powder drizzled over all of them. Like I said, I've only played the Lizardman campaign and the Skaven campaign, and not even, like, to that far of completion. Like, the one stream, I probably got a decent amount of progress in, and I probably still only have, like, 5 or 6 different towns and cities and things like that. It takes a long time to get much of anywhere. Also, I should say, I've been playing everything on at least the hard mode, which there's, I think, 2 steps above that, but like 4 steps below it. So I'm played on a little notch higher than normal. And it's taken me a long time. It's very difficult to get going, which is something I like, but
in an enjoyable way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not like impossible. It's just difficult. There's lots of things that you have to think about that you wouldn't necessarily think you need to think about. But like I said, overall, it's definitely a lot better than the first game. I'm enjoying it a lot better than the first game. I'm having a lot more fun than the first game. And if you're a Total War fan, I would probably say this is a good, solid Total War game. From a Warhammer standpoint, I still think it's a good Warhammer game from the lore and the funk and like the way that it like sets the atmosphere of it. Like the opening cinematics for all the races are so much better, like immensely better than the first one. Like they set a personality for the race. They set the tone for like the race's gold and everything else. They set the backdrop for like the whole Great Vortex spit and everything else. They do an amazing job with them. I love all of that. They do a much better job with it. Overall, I think it's a great game, and it's getting rave reviews across the map for the most part. I think the lowest review I saw was like an 8 out of 10 but most of them were
Wow.
9 plus. The vast majority of them were all 9 plus. I would probably rate this closer to like the 8.5 range, just because I haven't played all of it yet, and I'm a little bit more skeptical. And plus, I have a few things that I personally have gripes with about the game, but overall, it's an amazing strategy game. Like, I really do think it's a really great strategy game, far better than the first one. But the one thing that I was actually thinking about, almost as a discussion topic, was the one thing I really wish that would be different from Total War as a genre itself. This is going to sound completely ass backwards because the title of the genre is Total War, but I really wish there would be
Less war.
I just wish there'd be other options, like, you know, in a 4X game,
Total war, but some diplomacy. Doesn't quite fit on
basically, because even in Total War, your diplomacy always has to end with eventually I'm gonna kill you. Like, that should be the subplot. The
eventual war.
Like, the fine print of every contract in Total War should be until we decide to kill each other. Like, that should be the entire contract. Everything you do. You can have a trade agreement. You could have, you know, an offensive alliance, a military alliance. Eventually, you're gonna kill them. Like, that's just how it's gonna be. You're either gonna kill them,
Hey,
or
it's me. Can I borrow your spoon?
stab. Well, it's either going to be you destroy them or you force them to join you. Like, those are the only two options you have. In any other 4X game, you could diplomatically do things. You could make a diplomatic partner. You do eventually might have to go to war, but there's far more focus on different things.
Well, maybe it should be called Total Conquest.
Maybe, because it's just like, there are some times where I really wish, like, I just wish there would be times where, like, I could have a breather of non-war to be like, I'm just gonna, like, look at my towns for a while and just see how I can manage them. But since this is purely Total War, everything else is streamlined to get to the battles. So I just feel like I'm constantly worrying about, where's this army, where's that army, you know, who's gonna attack me next, where am I gonna attack next? Because you can't sit still at all. And I really wish there was some leeway in that sense.
Just a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, just to be like, oh, maybe I'll decide to do diplomacy for a few turns. Maybe I'll, like, focus on research management for a few turns. Typically, it's like...
Well, see, it's funny because, you know, I'm a fan of Civ, and I always go the diplomacy route unless it's literally like the barbarian tribes, which cannot be reasoned with. They will attack you, so they're kind of thrown in there to get, you have to have some sort of combat. But I will always try some form of diplomacy. And it's good, but it always ends up being a little boring. It always ends up being a little uninteresting. And it's not that I'm saying the only fun thing is to fight, but combat certainly occupies...
There's excitement to it.
Yeah, there's excitement. It occupies multiple parts of your brain. You're kind of thinking like, okay, I'm developing this, but I also got to make sure this village is standing, and oh my god, I got guys attacking here. And so you're thinking about more than, like, at least in Civ's example, diplomacy more or less tends to be Napoleon calls you up on his Napoleon phone and is like, yo, it's me. Hey, we got that spice trade going on. You still sending those things to my chambers? Yeah, you're all set. Also, I want to be able to walk through your property. I don't see anything wrong with that. Pleasure doing business with you.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
That's literally it. And it's like, it almost just gets annoying. Like, I think there are even mods where it's just like, okay, do this, automate this, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And in Total War's own defense of my own topic, the majority of the strategy to a Total War game is the actual battles, where the fact like, oh, I have like 5 less troops than they do. How am I going to do this? Where am I going to position myself? Do I want to ambush from the forest? Do I want to take the high ground?
It's interesting.
Exactly. I mean, there was times where, like, I had one battle, I don't think I was streaming this one, where I was able to win a one-sided fight because the other army was purely an archer-based army, and I somehow started on the backside of a hill. I literally just camped underneath the brim of the hill until they literally got to the top of it, and then I charged them. Like, that was literally my entire strategy.
Boy, that's a Lord of the Rings moment right there.
I mean, but, like, that's one of the great things about Total War is that occasionally the map will give you an idea and an advantage. Other times you're just kind of boned. Like, there was one time on stream, actually, some people got to watch me do this. I actually somehow, like, one of my armies got ambushed, and it got ambushed by a force that was bigger than the one I had. And somehow I still managed to fight everything off from it, even when I was ambushed. One cool thing that was different than the ambushes in Total War 2 versus 1. An ambush, for people who don't know, in Total War, Warhammer at least, the ambushers, basically, the person getting ambushed starts in a marching column, like you would, like, oh, we're going to battle, march one by one, this is efficient. So you're literally one troop behind another troop the entire way. the ambushers get to freely position their army in any way, shape, or form around them, and then
That's
just like.
cool.
So I love doing the ambushes, but like in this one, it was actually super cool because when you started, my army started in a cinematic. Like I was walking as my general. Like I was simply like following my general, and I could change the camera. I could move my camera around. Like I could like look around the scene. But it just was like, yeah, this is a normal day. This is fun. Marching along, and eventually it goes dun dun.
Happy tune.
And then eventually it goes like it plays music, and you go into the battle mode. But it was so cool to actually get the sense of I'm not being ambushed right now. Da 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 da. You know, before it's just kind of like you're being ambushed. Prepare. Yeah. Okay, the other guy's ready.
Yeah.
That was kind of nice to literally go shit, and then like start moving people
Psychologically
everywhere.
throws you off your game.
But yeah, I mean I still think the battling is really good. The visuals are really good. Overall, I think it's a great strategy game. I would recommend it to the vast majority of people. I'm like super excited to play the other two races. I played these two first because personal preference, and I put a vote up on Twitter. People spoke, but luckily they were my first two choices anyway. So hurrah! I probably will play I'll probably will play the other two eventually, but probably will be playing or streaming more of this on potentially Friday also or Monday, depending on two. I actually have 2 full days off, so I'm going to be trying to stream the majority of both of those days. So please
nice.
come join me for those. I would be more than happy to have anyone else join me for the streams.
It's free of charge.
Exactly. But speaking of playing things, Tom, you've played things.
I played a couple of things. So I'm looping up. So actually, speaking of streaming, I just, before we did this, streamed for like the first time ever on this channel, a little bit of Heat Signature, which I talked about a lot last week, so I'm not going to repeat a lot of it. But basically, it's so great. I love this game. I love this game so much. It just constantly generates fun situations. It's so satisfying to play. Anyone who watched it saw, it's just really... It's both fast and slow at the same time.
Yeah, I really do like the style of Heat Signature. It's really a unique game, but in a great way.
Yeah, actually, since you're here, what were your impressions? Because you watched,
I watched your stream. I've also watched a few other Let's Plays and things like that. I should say I do have the game. I just haven't played it yet. What's the best way of describing Heat Signature? I'm not even sure. It's
a mistake 'em up.
Yeah, it's basically a game where everything you want to happen doesn't happen. It's a game where
you don't want to happen does.
Yeah, you will make a plan and then it just never happens that way. It's a game where you get presented a puzzle, you get presented tools to solve that puzzle, but you have no idea if those tools are the right tools for that puzzle.
That's a great way to put it. It's like a puzzle game almost, where you're given this ship that you have to infiltrate a ship and do something, whether it's assassinate a guy, rescue
a guy, steal the ship.
Yeah. And there's kind of like, you can just go and achieve your objective and leave the ship in your little pod, but you also can take down everyone on the ship, and you get a real bonus for bringing the ship in, like, all together. And also it's just fun. Like, once you get it's a really addictive game to play. Yeah, so like one situation that I had this character Fox Borealis, and every character is randomly generated, and they each randomly get a personal mission that you're building up through regular missions, I guess. You're building up cash and experience towards. So ultimately you get this big personal mission. You go on a big ship and you have to do something really high stakes kind of thing. And so the one for this character, Fox Borealis, was to rescue his son. And I had him like kitted out. He had a rechargeable, it was mostly non-lethal stuff. So I think I was still using the wrench because that's really satisfying. You get that right out of the gate. I got a concussion gun, and I had something called a subverter, which if you use it on, you have like a little bit of a range. You can use it through walls. If you use it on a turret, it will turn the turret against the enemies and in your favor. Won't attack you, will attack them. If you use it on a guy with a shield, I thought that it just disables their shield.
But what does it actually do?
I found out a little bit later. We'll get to that. But there are also things called crash beams, which do shut down a turret, shuts down a shield. What I thought a subverter did. So I'm doing this mission and I'm moving so slowly because this guy is like by the game's definition he's like a high level character for lack of a better word, um, and I don't when you die you're dead. Like there's a chance you can go and rescue a character, but when you die you're dead. It's not like you can.
Who would have thought?
You can't reload a save.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So I thought I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go through this massive ship, and all the guards had shields. So I'm going through and I'm turning their using the crash beam. So I think I'm turning their, or subverter, excuse me. I'm using the subverter. I'm thinking I'm turning their shields off, but there's still like this thing hovering around them. I'm like, that's weird. Is it just showing that they had a shield or what? And I'm sneaking through the ship. And if I had to, I was taking care of guys, knocking them out, hiding the bodies so nobody would find them. But mostly I was sneaking through because these were just strong guys and I wasn't going to be able to take them all down. Got finally all the way through the ship. This was like half an hour on this one ship. Got all the way through, rescued my son, put his body over my shoulder, turned around, and a guard saw me. And I was just like, well, this sucks. And he goes to shoot his gun. And when he does, the alarm goes off. It's like, intruder! And everyone on the ship knows. He goes to shoot his gun. And what a subverter does on a shield is it flips it around. So he shoots the gun, boom, kills himself. I booked it through that ship, and every single guard came out and tried to shoot at me and shot themselves. It was just like, boom, 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 boom. I was like, oh,
so it does it to the whole ship without you having to do anything.
Well, I was manually going through to every single guard.
And you have to like flip it.
Yeah, thinking if I was going to have to fight my way out, at least they wouldn't have shields. Turns out I did the best possible thing. And every guard killed themselves on that ship. Every single one.
Killed their own selves.
I think there's an achievement for it called I Wouldn't Do That If I Were You. It was really great. So I did it. I rescued the son. And what's really funny is I really liked this character. He had a cool name, Fox Borealis. And when you do your personal mission, you can retire your character. Mm-hmm. And what it is they go out to pasture, so to speak. They go on this kind of wall of legends. And one item in their inventory can be now a thing that is like more naturally occurring. So like he had this subverter. I was like, oh my God, I want everyone to be able to pick this up. So I was going to retire him. And I'm looking through my missions. I thought, one more mission. I will do one more mission with Fox Borealis. He's literally, this is the complete cliche. He was one mission from retirement.
God.
This is like, you can't make this shit up. It's like, just one more for the road. And it was billed as a suicide mission. And it was like, what you have to do is you have to get to the captain's chair, set the coordinates of the ship to crash into a planet, and get off the ship. I thought, cool, that'll be a nice big bang up way to go out. Yeah, okay. So did the mission, was easy enough, got over to the captain's chair, knocked the captain out, sat down, plugged in the coordinates, and it's like, you have 1 second to escape.
Did you break open a window?
Tonight we drink to Fox Borealis. I was just like,
So is the only benefit of retiring your characters that you could choose to benefit your future characters?
Yeah, and you do have, again, this wall of legends, so you can go in and look and be like, oh yeah, I remember that guy, I remember that mission, that was cool.
Yep.
But, it's kind of like XCOM's.
So do you think the 1 second was based on how quickly you got it? Like, you think if you would have got there 5 seconds quicker, you would have got 6 seconds to escape?
I think it was just a matter of timing, because exactly that. The ship was literally outside of the planet, and they just, when you're on them, they float around in space. Yeah. I probably, if I was paying attention, or now that I know that this is a thing, I probably could have just stayed on the ship and been like, okay, wait till it's a further length from the planet. But instead, it was literally at the perimeter. It just crashed and exploded. I mean, it accomplished the mission.
Could you have shot out the window and just whoosh?
Probably. I mean, if there was a window nearby and I knew that, I would have used like a grenade or something to breach it, vent out, and
hopefully get away from it.
There are a lot of situations, you can go back and watch the stream, there are a lot of situations where it's like, oh, I didn't know that would work, or I wasn't expecting that to work at all, or, oh crap, I can't believe that just happened. It's a game of systems, and I love that. I love when a game is just like, here's your toy box, Yeah,
you have to slowly figure it out exactly what does what and how does it do it.
Yeah.
And I love how the missions get to the point where they're ludicrous missions where it's just you should not do this mission.
The difficulty
mission.
level is literally audacious
yeah.
mistake. Like I love Heat
I
Signature.
like the game is very self-aware in its own humor, which is great because it does. It says funny. It's like, this is a mission that you really shouldn't do, but here's the mission anyway.
Yeah.
Seriously, you shouldn't do this mission.
Only an idiot would do
this mission.
So here it is. Yeah. Or like in the descriptions, it's like guns, shoot people, usually fatally. You know, or it's like what's this? One of the mission modifiers, it could say this ship is managed by a skeleton crew, and then it says in parentheses, very few people, not actual skeletons.
Exactly.
You know, it's like. But like I said, Tom Francis, the kind of the mastermind behind the game, great guy, and his personality and his flavor just shine through this. So much fun. It is so much fun to play. Highly recommend it to anybody. I also finally got around to playing more of Jazzpunk. Now, Jazzpunk was a game that actually came out like in 2013, maybe 14. Talked about it at length on another podcast years ago. Like, this was almost my game of the year. I think it was the same year that the Stanley Parable came out. So it's like this was like second place. Jazzpunk is a pure comedy game. I don't think I've ever talked about it on here, so I apologize.
Yeah, I don't think you have
stuff.
I'm just researching.
It's a pure comedy game, like the Naked Gun films or Airplane, where it's just every single thing, every line, everything in the background, everything that happens is a joke. Some of them are funny, some of them just kind of, fall. That's what this is in video game form. No matter what you do, everything is wrapped up in a joke. Like, it's the kind of game where it's like someone says, "Hey, sit down." You sit down and there's a fart noise, and then you get up and there's a whoopee cushion. That's the kind of game it is. There's like, if you go to point at something, you'll see this come up on the screen. This like looks like a cutout of a hand, like an old vintage kind of hand illustration. And you go and you point at whatever you need to, and you press a button or something. And then when you pull away, it's literally a cutout hand on a stick that you drop, like, and you leave it on the floor. So it's a gag game. It's kind of wrapped up in like a 1960s spy kind of stuff, espionage thing. There is a story that's connecting mission to mission to mission, but really it's just a bunch of funny little playgrounds of, clickable interactions and stuff like that. A lot of like robot-based humor too, just like tech-based humor. Also, it looks cool. It's this kind of 3D cartoony, like in the vein of if like Flintstones kind of cartoon, that type of genre of animation in 3D. So it's cool. But they recently, and I say recently, it was like this spring, released a DLC for it called the Flavor Nexus, which is just a convenience store level. And each mission you have an objective. And so like this mission, the guy who's your kind of mission giver is just like, "Can you buy me this thing at the store?" Great. And it never ceases to amaze me the turns this game takes. So in the store towards the back is this kind of like Macho Man Randy Savage sort of guy mixed with a little bit of what's his name? Oh, what's his friggin' name?
Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. Mixed with a little bit of Mr. T. And he's like selling sponsored products, and you could just keep talking to him and harassing him, and he's like, "All right, that's it, you and me out front." And he just like gets into a hot dog, because he's sponsoring a type of sausage, gets into a hot dog car and drives through the store out the front door. And so you can go through the mission, and then when you go out the front door, he's literally out in the parking lot with a monster truck hot dog, and he's like, "All right, man, it's on." And the game turns into Twisted Metal. Like, you are driving a monster truck. He's driving a monster truck. The parking lot is now like a map that you can drive around. You're trying to smash into him and stuff. It's just like this game, the base game, I can't remember where it is, but there's a wedding cake. And at one point you could click on it, and it actually unlocks an online multiplayer Quake knockoff called Wedding Quake that you can play with other people. And it's just like, they since released that as like a standalone thing within the game. But Jazzpunk is so stylish. It's so funny. If I were to like lodge a small complaint, the DLC isn't that much. I can't remember if it was free or if I paid for it. Even if I did pay for it, it was probably $3. But if you get like a complete version of the game, haven't played it yet, absolutely. If you're like, "Oh, is this like a substantial new mission?" Not really. It's funny. Yeah, it's more jokes. Absolutely. but odds are probably people have not played this yet, so you should. It's really funny. Also, they went through and enhanced some of the levels. There's one level in Japan, and there was this whole like cyberpunk, like Ghost in the Shell, Blade Runner mini mission that I opened up, which was just like never was there. So they recently added this at some point in the game. It's great. Jazzpunk. Go play Jazzpunk. So, excuse me, something in my nose. Here's a game that I have been waiting for a long time. This is called the Norwood Suite. This just came out. Ooh, this is definitely my type of game. So our free game of the week this week is actually a game called Off Peak, which was made by the same developer. And so that's why we're plugging it for the free game, but I don't want to jump the gun too much. Basically, it's a game where it's more an interactive art and music exhibition. It's not even, I wouldn't call it a walking simulator. It's just a series of...
It's not like a point and click adventure or anything else.
No, you're doing very small objective based things. Like in Off Peak, you're collecting pieces of a train ticket, but it's more about, you're overhearing this conversation. It's just an ambient conversation. You're looking at this thing. You're looking at that site. It's a soak in the sights kind of game, which everyone should know by now as just my jam, big time. And the Norwood Suite is the latest. It's a full release. Off Peak is a free game, was made as a free game. The Norwood Suite is a full Steam release. Same vein, you are dropped off at this hotel, and that's really it. That's your impetus, and it's like you're told a couple of things that are going on at the hotel. But it's weird that Jazzpunk, I would have played that the same week, because this is like if jazz, like the music genre, was a video game, this would be it. It's offbeat, it's off kilter, it's eccentric, it's esoteric. When people talk, that instead of voice, it's like little clips of instruments. So like it'd be like, and another person would be like, and it's just a cool kind of ambient thing. There's a lot, especially about the Norwood Suite in particular, where it's like the guy, Norwood himself, was a famous composer. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm going around right now and I'm collecting piano keys. There's a lot about this hotel is about to be sold. So there's kind of this going on. There's a party that's going on downstairs, and it's just a cool place to be, a cool place to click around in. It's got the physicsy thing of like when you open drawers, you actually click and drag and the drawer opens up. I love that. The big thing that I want to say, what all this is leading to, is I never thought in my life that I would play another game that felt like Starship Titanic, ever. Starship Titanic is a game that I've talked about a lot. It was a Douglas Adams point and click Myst-like, M-Y-S-T, Myst-like adventure game back in the 90s that shaped me as a human being. Just shaped, like, I learned to use Photoshop because of that game. I started writing because of that game. I got into Douglas Adams. I got into sci-fi, because of that game. This feels like that. Sort of partially aesthetically, kind of because definitely Starship Titanic, it was made in the late 90s, so a lot of the graphics are primitive by today's standards, and this has, the Norwood Suite has feel of kind of almost, I think it's intentional, kind of the feel of like recycled Unity store assets. Like, it's very low poly, simple colors, simple design. So aesthetically it feels the same, but where it was like Starship Titanic, it was a technological limitation. This game, I think it's an intentional design kind of thing. And it's like just the feeling of going around and pick up this thing, combine it with that thing to make this, because a person needs that. That's what you're doing. And it's not, obviously these are gamey things to gate your progress a little bit. Hey, if you want to get down into the kitchen, make me this thing, bring me this book, etc., and I'll give you the key to this door. It's not hard. It's nothing that's going to challenge you at all. It's literally, hey, go to my room and get this thing. And it's room 204.
And doors open.
Yeah, and you go up and the doors open, and you just are like, it's more so, this is definitely, what's the phrase, half the fun is getting there. This is a game where it's not about you're reaching some sort of story conclusion or something. Yeah, you could soak up the happenings of the world. There is a overall kind of story, but it's not like, gee, I can't wait to see how this ends. It's, what does this room have in store for me? What wow, look at this staircase, look at this view, look at this interesting thing,
Listen to these people talk.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's the Norwood Suite, and I'm gonna revisit. This is by Cosmo D or Cosmo DD on Twitter. And I'm going to revisit that when we talk about our free game of the week. But one last thing that I do want to talk about that I played is a really cool little thing called Fell Seal Arbiter's Mark. This is a game that came our way, actually, and I'm really glad it did because I like it. This is a very short demo for this. It's being kickstarted right now.
Yes,
I believe.
Yep,
it's being kickstarted.
Still is. Yep.
Yes. And it's a tactics game, Final Fantasy Tactics. If you played that, you have your roster of characters, and each one brings something different to the table, and it's, turn-based. Okay, this character will go, and you see at the top, okay, that character will go next, then this character will go. So if I time it up right, this character can do this, that one will do that, and this one will heal, or whatever. It's a genre that you've played before, but the presentation is nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's this sort of hand-drawn, again, Final Fantasy is a good comparison, vintage, classic Final Fantasy.
Like Final Fantasy Tactics kind of thing.
Yeah. It's really pretty. It's got this kind of fantasy steampunk thing, which again is the Final Fantasy thing. But what I really like is how you can customize your team members. You have the story ones. You have the ones that are the scripted, these 3 people are going on this mission. But you can also go and recruit other team members. So you can say, okay, I want to recruit a wizard. Well, okay, what does he look like? What's his name? What's his portrait? I thought, that's cool. I like stuff like that. Pillars of Eternity recently, I really enjoyed that, and so it's cool. You can make cool looking characters. You can make people that there's not too much by way of customization. Maybe there will be more in the final game. It seems like it's a big feature of it, so I would be surprised if there wasn't more. But fun to play. It's a fun tactics up. There's a part of me that really likes that a lot. It kind of hinges on having a good, compelling story. There was not enough of really much in this to sell it either way. It wasn't like I was turned off. It just there wasn't anything to turn on yet. Good atmosphere, I like it. I can vouch for it, absolutely. I don't know if you were planning on playing the demo at any point, but I think that you'd have a...
It's on my list, but it's getting there. Basically, I had the same kind of opinions as you did. I mean, the aesthetic of it before you even talked about how you played it or the impressions of what you played. Mm-hmm. It looks like it's goes back to the old Final Fantasy Tactics kind of days.
Yeah, it's on an 3D, isometric kind of checkerboard
3D, kind of turn-based things.
Yeah, there was a cool little element in one of the fights where there's this trap door, and you're fighting against like four or 5 guys. And one of your party members says, hey, if someone stands on that trap door, they can't call in reinforcements. I thought, oh, that's cool. I like that. Which one of my party members will stand on it? Do I put the wizard on it, who is squishy but has probably the best range? Do I put the healer on it? Or things like that. Mm-hmm. So I like stuff like that. That's very XCOM-y, Who do I sacrifice for this? So yeah, that's Fell Seal Arbiter's Mark. Certainly we'll have links to the Kickstarter and more information on that on our website.
Yep.
But before we get to that point, I'm going to just roll it back a little bit and talk about our free game of the week. I forgot to, which is Off Peak. Now, Off Peak is the previous game by Cosmo D, by the Norwood Suite developer, and it's free. You can go play it. It's the same vibe. This is in a train station where the Norwood Suite is in a hotel, but it's so cool. It combines art and music and eccentricity. I've said it 100,000 times. I like games that let me feel like a tourist, and this really feels like I'm visiting a train station. It's almost like, and I don't think this is an intentional thing, but the way it kind of sits with me is it's like when you go to a place you've never been before and you're in a public space, like you're in a train station or whatever that you've never been in your life. And so kind of everything is like a little different and weird. And it's like the perspectives are off and it's very dreamlike. You know, some people are really tall, some people are really small. Some, you know, there's big, vivid artwork on the walls. There's an aquarium where there are fish flying by that are like 30 feet high. You know, I don't know why I'm rhyming like every other line, but it's just like, you know, there's a guy in the train station that's just dancing. He's just dancing. It's very surreal. It's very, I hate using the word trippy, but you know.
But this isn't purely comedic like the other one is. This one is more.
Well, neither are really comedic.
That's true.
I wouldn't say they're comedic. They're dreamlike. They're very esoteric. They're very, you know. This is a world that makes sense by the rules of the world, but doesn't make sense by our rules, if that makes sense. Yep. It's like everything that's happening here is normal to them, you know.
And you're just a tourist inside their world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm getting at, where it's like something like Off Peak, which you guys can go and experience yourselves right after this podcast ends. It's just, this is an interesting and strange place that I found myself in, but it's harmless. It's harmless, you know? So I feel free to kind of just walk up to things, look at things, maybe take things.
Get nosy, gotta get like
yeah,
right in there.
Exactly. It's a world that lets you get nosy. But of course, the link to that will be on our website,
which is addictedloot.com, where you can find all of our show notes and more, where you can everything we talk about, whether it's an article, movie, game, or anything else, you could go onto our website, which you can get links to all of our show notes.
I'm going right now. You could be like me.
You can get the audio versions of our podcasts at our iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or SoundCloud. You can watch the video version of it on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/addictedtoloot, all of which are linked on our website. You can get links to our Facebook, YouTube, and also get our group Gmail account or our email account, at which you can write in for all questions, comments, concerns, requests, anything else, anything your little heart desires. That is addictedtoloot@gmail.com. You can get links to our group Twitter, which we do all of our Addicted to Loot based updates. That is at Addicted to Loot. That is the number 2. You can get our own personal Twitter, so you can hang out with us and just discuss games or anything else you want. Mine is at ATL_Atomic0, and his is at TOMALITY. And of course, as always, we have been Addicted to Loot. This has been episode 59 of the Addicted to Loot podcast. And as always,
keep it Nerf or nothing.